Hi guys, welcome to Capcom Podcast. What's
Um,
going on? It's
we got.
me, Anthony. I'm in my car. Well,
I think
well,
that's the first time that we got a little sound bite during the intro. Little sequence.
wait, the intro is playing. Oh my god.
You didn't see the intro playing?
No.
It goes. Psh, I think we're live. And I'm Justin, a little guy who watches movies once every 2 weeks, specifically
Oh.
specifically for this, or if Inside Out 2 comes out, which I know is a very specific reason to be seeing a movie, being that it only happens once in the history of forever. But those are the only two instances in which I see a movie. How are you doing today, Anthony? This is the first two-person podcast since season 1, when this was a completely different podcast. Enough so that it's weird that it's that this is season 2 of that podcast.
I'm doing good. I had a little shoot in Virginia. I'm on my way back.
Yeah.
I woke up extremely late. I was planning on being home by now, but instead of hitting the road at 6 o'clock, I woke up at 10.
Oh my gosh.
But I feel well rested.
I was gonna say, like,
Starbucks right next to my left, and there's an Anthony's Pizzeria to my right.
That's your pizzeria.
After this, I could grab pizza at my pizzeria, go to Starbucks, get my coffee, put them together, and just drive the rest home.
Are you sure about the putting them together part or the?
No, I'm not.
I say try everything at least once in life, right? And you should
Yeah.
film a reaction video to that experience and put it up on this channel. And I'll go ha 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 when I watched it.
I could do that. I'll dump the coffee on the pizza, and I'll eat the pizza.
Yes, I am not. I am not particularly well rested. I also got like a little COVID booster last night, so I am achy and drained. But don't worry. I did watch this week's movie, Sisu, right? Pronunciation.
Yes. I'm not exactly sure how to say it. I called it Sushui for a very long time. Even there's no U in there.
We'll just pronounce it differently every time we say it throughout the podcast. But I did end up getting to watch that at like 3 a.m. So I am locked and loaded.
3 a.m. Justin.
I was pretty busy till 1 a.m. and then I took a breather. And I was kind of procrastinating watching the movie because I'm like, am I gonna like this? I was bringing this up earlier, but like I go to where the platform. I'm seeing like action and war, and I'm like, it's pretty rare like a war movie. I mean, like, is this gonna be for me? And then pretty immediately I'm like, oh, this hits different. This is not what I was expecting at all. So pretty hype time. So I mean, if we want to jump right into movie talk, I'm down to talk right.
Might as well.
So hey everyone, the movie of the week is Sisu.
Sisu.
A little classic tale from 2022 or 3. From
2023 came out. I actually saw the trailer for this watching the new John Wick movie that came out in 2023 as well.
Sense.
In Boston.
In Boston, I went to school there. I lived there for a bit. I miss it. I lived right across the street from an AMC. It was awesome.
Oh, the one in the city?
Yeah, right across from like the Boston Commons, because that's where I was at Emerson.
I was at that AMC.
Yo, yeah. So I for my first 2 years of school, I was like diagonally right across the streets, and like I finished up a class, and Movie Pass was around that time. So I had a movie pass, and I just went straight into the MC, and I was like, "What's playing?" I could just see anything. It was great.
That's nice.
And now I don't have anything like that because I can't go to a movie alone. The only person like nearby who maybe would see a movie with me is Anthony, and we should make a plan sometime.
We can make a plan sometime.
Maybe after the podcast. Might be a bit boring for people.
Yeah, probably after the podcast.
Or awesome. Maybe it'd be awesome. But I lost track of thought briefly. But I was like, I mean, yeah, you brought up John Wick, and like I'm like, I have never seen a John Wick movie, but the moment this movie started, I'm like, is this what that's like? Because this kind of rocks.
It's very similar to John Wick. As an avid John Wicky fan, you have to say it Wiki because I don't know why. Just
Like a
do.
Wookiee, yeah.
A new rule. It's a new rule I made.
I love it.
It's more westernized
Mm-hmm.
than what I was used to. The action was good though. Less. You can't. I'm comparing it to John Wick 3, which is like
Of course.
they went from like it's like Fast Furious 1, Fast Furious 7. Like they took it and just revamped it to insane where they have
Bigger and
suits,
crazier, of course.
They go crazier. And it was good. The actions were good. The choreography for the action was fantastic. Especially someone who also did martial arts growing up. I thought they did a
Very
great
cool.
job with choreographing. Yeah.
Well,
I like how they don't cut during the hits, bro. That you see the punches, you see the hits.
yeah, and you feel it in this movie. So for those who don't know, this is a little movie about so it takes place at the end of like World War II era, and we're focused on our silent protagonist who truly hates Nazis and Russians.
Really does. Yeah.
And is this a spoiler to give a little bit about his background?
No, because it's about the legend, like the legends. We learned about that in the first arc, the first act. Actually, said arc.
We have our an old man killing machine, baby, and it is incredibly satisfying every step of the way. Never a dull moment, and kind of a banger experience. That's my little review. Banger movie with a lot of bangs.
Bangs.
It goes pew pew sometimes, It
does go pew pew sometimes, and the action, they got a lot of explosions. Very, very, very well cinematographed.
And some of them are there's a lot of blood, so you get your money's worth,
Yeah, if you're it is a gory film, so if you're into gore, I wouldn't say too gory, but it's got violence and gore. So if you like that, you're gonna enjoy it. It's not a slasher by any means necessarily.
No, it's not like you're watching characters be slowly tortured or anything. It's just no. A lot of kaboom, and you'll see the aftermath of that kaboom, kind of thing.
Yes, a lot of kaboom.
So now let's go to the spoiler section. Now that we've said that unless you want to quickly say, did you like the movie?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I'll give it a thumbs up. Not a this or this.
I figured that would it's if people want to hop in there and just get the vibe of do we recommend it before we jump into spoiler section? That's always a plus. Cameron writes, weird. Okay. I just got the news that we might not be getting Seb today, as it turns out. The point being that so now that we've said that, okay, we're gonna let's go to the spoiler section. I forget if Leo's here to do that. So just pretend there's a little spoiler thing at the end here. I feel like if you're looking for that in particular and you see that it's just me all of a sudden, oh no, what happened? It's live, so we just kind of have to roll with the punches here. Hecking, Sisu is a radical time of a movie. Gosh, this suddenly sucks. I think for the meta for the viewer here. Well, now for those listening to the audio version of this podcast, which is a thing that exists probably. Leo, what's going on? Guy. Okay, so we're dealing with some stuff going on, but I don't know. It's like when someone else is here, I could ignore the fact I'm on webcam, but when it's just me, I have to look straight at me while I'm talking. I just need to cover that up. Right before the podcast, I was like, I really like this movie. I don't know if there's gonna be a ton to talk about because it's just did you like that moment where cool action happened? Do you like that moment where cool action happens? But they make it work, I'm not a big action dude. I feel like I. This is I'm gonna need to try to make this as comfortable of an experience as possible for our one watching now number of viewers. Looks like Anthony's backstage. If we could bring him back, if we're able to bring him back and like the button click of the bring him back. Anyway, there's one viewer watching right now, and it might be me because I'm on the video page. So, if it's not me, sound off in the comments and feel and could, because right now it's just in Q&A time. I'll answer your question for free. to put me on any topic other than trying to think of things to say about this movie that's planning on taking a bit of a backseat for discussion wise. But don't get me wrong, it's a good movie. They do it in, okay. I gotta think through topics. I just need to bounce off myself instead of bounce off someone else. The dog, there's animals in this movie. I was terrified. Oh my gosh. There's this adorable little dog throughout the entire movie that is just favorite thing to do is whimper. Someone needs to give that dog like a real good treat, you know. And the whole time I was like, man, something bad's gonna happen to this dog. I'm gonna need to just like stop the movie and walk away for a bit because I'm not good at that. So I think the most effective thing that they did in the entire movie is make sure, okay, if we want someone to, if we as the people making the movie, which is totally something I was a part of, want someone to really hate a character that will eventually be killed in some way, just have them be mean to a dog, you know? It's like a little shortcut, and it worked every time for me to go, yes, stab him in the face. Oh gosh, Anthony's right backstage. Anyway, so, but we did lose a horse along the way, and that was pretty rough, fellas. Am I right? Everyone else in this little podcast call, that was a little rough. So to update, Anthony is in our little chat here because he's backstage and just I'm not the host of this. We have an engineer, Leo, who's cool and talented, who normally does that, but he needs to step away from 15 minutes at the exact time that Anthony needed to be let back in. So I could keep talking by myself, or at least with Anthony, who's in the little comments here, for 15 minutes. 15. Do you know how like tough it is to just improv for like 1 minute? When the moment you start improving, every minute feels like an eternity. I just have nothing to bounce off because I'll do like a YouTube live stream where there's like a sea of questions, and I could just like, you know, ramble about a topic, look at the comments, find a new topic, and then have that to ramble off of. It feels like audience interaction. It gives me new ideas. If this was another movie, maybe I'd be able to go into the, on a thematic level, this movie did an astounding job doing this and this, and then like with this one, I'm like, they killed Nazis. It was cool, man. There were ladies kidnapped in a truck, and it was very uncomfortable, but they had a kick-ass moment in the end. I even said the A word just now. That's bananas. That's just how good it was. And forget Avengers Endgame. When they had that girl boss moment at the end, I was like, that's a win. That's a you see, I can say things like that's a feminist win. And like the like saying like obviously that is a good thing, but the point of me saying that is to say it in a silly enough way that I get giggles from other people here, and I could feed off of that energy. Now it's weird, you know. And I appreciate Anthony at least being a little chit chat here. I don't think we don't have. I think the thing I miss most of all, it's not, you know, Anthony's presence in this chat. It's not knowing Leo is protecting us from behind the scenes. It's not Cameron or Seb. It's we haven't got any comments from Mrs. Spector, Cameron's mom, yet, and I think that might be the part of the podcast I look forward to most. So if you're there, I would love some support in these trying times. But I understand that Cameron's not here, and he's kind of the center points, the real glue that brings us all together and and reels in the audience. So I understand if we've long abandoned ship. I'm really trying to amp myself up to keep speaking by myself for another 10 minutes. But I just might have to call it, unless like someone gives me something to talk about, because okay, it's time to rate that movie. Right. So is everyone's favorite fight scene? Okay. Anthony's giving me some prompts here, which is appreciated. Favorite fight scene in this movie. Listen, I know it's silly, but I think the most surprising one is one of the most valuable, and that's the very first scene before we enter any action. They set up this like brilliant little piece where they have a gun to our little legend's head. They found the gold. Yeah, you feel this like you just found out about the kidnapped woman. There's this smarmy energy about like they're gonna steal the gold and kill him, and he's just a little dude. At the moment he seems defenseless, right? He's just this cute little old man who has been mining for some gold. And you really feel that in the moment, like this. But then something's off. Something's just a little off there, because then he's gripping his fist, he's shaking. It's like something's going on internally there. And just the very sudden turnaround, and then like a real close in on knife straight through the guy's head. And it is an insane tone switch up. Like it is a moment that hits insanely hard. I think though, if I had to choose one sequence, otherwise that's a little, for appreciating the full sequence as opposed to a single moment, it would be the minefields. A little round of applause. 5 points to the minefields part of the movie, where you have a minefield. And obviously, devastation has just hit. Our protagonist has just ridden along on a horse, and the minefield kind of put that to a stop. So our lead is on his own after facing the loss of a pal. And then they use that set piece like to their tremendous advantage, right? In that you kind of know what's coming. You're in a minefield. He picks up a rock when the villains are approaching, but they do like a great job after that with like, first we have a rock throw, big mine explosion. He's using the enemy's stuff to his advantage. But then you have a few things come right after that to add on to the fun. Then they're open fire. He's able to shield himself with, I think I wasn't quite sure what it was that he was using to shield himself in that moment from gunfire. I think it was like a mine that had already gone off, like the bridge around it, like the top cover of it. Point being, he had his Captain America shield and was protecting himself from gunfire, and that was a really satisfying to watch beat. And then you have, I think, my favorite little depths in the whole thing, and that's minus the big final one, of course. But when you have characters like stepping out into the minefields who are being like demanded to go after him, and they'll take a few steps, and then take a few steps, and then, like there's like great comedic timing to it. Like it's well set up. It's using the environment really well. You, even if you expect it, it's like it's satisfying. You really really hate these guys to begin with. You either everyone on the villain team, which some might call Nazis, uh, which they are obviously. Um, you know, they are either really really bad people and slash or I mean I guess they're all probably really bad people, but that's life. Some people are just drafted into things and are in their sitch, but they're either really disgusting leaders or like baffling idiots who just are like, okay, I'm gonna take the order to march to my death now. That's a good thing. That's another thing that they did really well. Is have fun with their reasoning. Like is something that I thought really checked out and was really fascinating. The guy who was comeding what was commanding this branch of Nazi soldiers was like, hey, the war's done. If we go home, we're they're probably just gonna kill us. So yeah, we're up against a death machine of a man, but it's either we die here or we die home. It's either we die here and have a chance at stealing the gold, and make a life for ourselves, or we go home and probably definitely we'll just die. And the moment that was said, I'm like, all right, we have our stakes on both sides. Uh, and I love our little silent protagonist killing machine. Um, there were a few points in the movie where I'm like, oh, they were building up to this moment to get him to finally speak in a intense moment. Um, like primarily during our like big final fight scene, but all it came up once or twice earlier when I was like, is he gonna speak here? Um, and obviously, him going through most of the movie silent is pretty badass, but they do end up saving it for the end at a point in which I was like, okay, they're definitely not having him speak. So it sure does hit when he finally does, and it's like it, in a flip of the knife to the head. It's like a moment of like, whoa, um, this guy could speak. This is crazy. Like it's the knife to the head was a surprise that led to you going, oh, I'm understanding this movie now. And him speaking at the end was a metaphorical knife to the head of satisfaction, victory. We know for a fact, happy ending, riding off into the sunset. We didn't catch up with the dog at the end, though. I hope the dog's doing well. I'm sure the dog could find him. He's always able to find him. Granted, he's the dog was probably a little farther away from him than usual by the end of the movie. But that poor dog, I can't do the whimpering. I can't do the whimpering. Um, I didn't have a dog until like 2 years ago. When did we get her? Something like 2 years ago. Maybe a little more, 2.5 years ago. But once we got Mia, it all changed. I was like, oh no. I care deeply about animals now as opposed to I always liked, and I'll jump to my next Anthony prompt in a moment. I was always, very fond of dogs, and I'd go to people's houses and want to spend more time with the dogs than the people. Uh, but I wasn't like deeply affected by animals in movies until recently, and now it's a problem where I'm like, I see a dog is in a movie, especially a movie that might have a little bit of violence, even just a little, like at the start of like Wilder People. I'm like, uh, it's not an action movie, but these people do have guns. um, The moment I see a dog, I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I could handle this. I don't know if I could handle this. These sweet little pure things. Just I don't think dogs are allowed to be in movies anymore for my convenience. But anyway, to Anthony's next prompt. Next Anthony prompt. That's my new Anthony prompt song, which will be relevant, I'm sure, through the rest of this podcast series. You see, how ridiculous is this is happening right now. Next Anthony prompt. Any parts you didn't like? Well, I'm glad you asked. And hello in the chat, Seth Wilson. I'm glad we have an epic pal here. Any parts I didn't like? I mean, listen, maybe I don't want to see, terrible things happen to horses and implied terrible things be happening to women. Maybe that makes me uncomfortable a little bit. Listen, I get it. Set up stakes, and for at least the latter of those two things, there is a happy ending, happy enough ending. Yeah. But it's tough. It's tough. I feel too many feelings, and obviously it's what the filmmakers want. The filmmakers want me to be enraged at these things, but that doesn't mean I have to like them. In fact, it's the opposite. So I didn't like it, and it's a good thing I didn't like it. How about that? Any parts of the movie that I was supposed to like but didn't like? Is probably a better question, and I don't think there really is. That's the thing about this movie. It's a 90-minuter. When I saw that, I'm like, are they allowed to do that? Are they allowed to do that? I guess a lot of modern animated movies will be around that range, but a live action movie with I guess a theatrical release. I guess I never asked anyone what the deal was with this because I didn't hear about this being in theaters, but it's it's not a big blockbuster. That might be why. But this is a tight heckin' movie. Like someone this was someone's job to just trim all the fat, or they probably worked it from the ground up, where it's like every single scene is action except for like the opening, the ending, and like the very opening, very ending, and like there's that one scene where he's back home and we're seeing like a little sprinkle of some PTSD going on with his tragic backstory. But otherwise, like everything is like tense and action, and like whether it's action or like sneakily evading the baddies, like it's always there's always something intense going on. And there's no actiony scenes that I felt were necessarily lackluster. I guess like the under the water one was a little like slower and less like in your face action, but like he's slitting people's throats under the water, and you're watching these like goons being ordered to go after him and be like, I don't know, and you get that power fantasy energy, right, from being able to like see that the stupid idiot villains are cowering in the face of our big hero who we imagine ourselves as. I don't, but it's still cool. Yeah, Anthony says the underwater one was his favorite, and I think I still think it's a great sequence. It's not the most bombastic action scene, but it's satisfying. It's really satisfying. And Anthony also says it was in theaters, but not a what were you trying to say here, Anthony? Anthony wrote, was in theaters, but not a Vlacobister. 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 And then Anthony corrects himself. Blockbuster. we're gonna retitle the episode. Maybe that could be our topic today. Vlacobisters. Yes. Anthony also asked what I thought about the score and soundtrack. Was there one? I don't know. I think it has to be a little more like in my face, like a Spider-Verse for me to even like be super picking up on it. Or like, I can't even tell you what the score sounded like for this movie. Anthony says topic Pride Month, and I'm like, I'm down for that. I don't know what to really say about it other than like they're rainbows, and it feels inviting and warm. But I don't I don't really have too many strong opinions about the politics surrounding Pride Month, like a lot of people do. Like rainbow consumerism, rainbow commercialism. What's the rainbow capitalism? I think is the typical phrase. Like, I don't mind, if anything, I like seeing people who do. I like seeing this. I mean, occasionally I get a laugh out of seeing people get annoyed over seeing rainbows around. People who should be a little more open minded. But Anthony's also asking if I have any plans. I am. I guess I could give my update that I give sometimes. We are 3 weeks away from our 6-week tour. Let's go. For those who don't know, we have the hit YouTube animated show an anime insanity that I work on, and we're collaborating with another show that I work on slightly less, Battle for Dream Island, and we're premiering an episode of each of those shows. I guess BFTI has one episode for the first half of the tour and one episode for the second half of the tour. Point being, we're premiere little episodes over the course of a 6-week tour in New York, which still has tickets available, and Houston, which doesn't. And then we go to Seattle, which is the location with the most tickets left available. Then we're in LA, which is sold out, and then we're going to Chicago, which has some tickets left as well. If you want to still check us out there, and then we're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is sold out, which is also sold out. So we're like, half of the locations are sold. I think, we're we're pretty close to sold out also in New York and Chicago. So you got to get your tickets now. If you want to see our first Anime Sanity Season 2 episode in the last few years on the big screen, as well as a teapot in the first half and BFDIA in the second half. New episode, and then following that is a Q&A with the little people who work on the shows, which includes me. I do that every day of my life. I am constantly working on at least an anime insanity. And I'll do what I'm doing right now, but with a few other people about a topic that I know better than than Sisu, and with a big audience going bananas. And that's it's my favorite time. There's 22 shows total. I'll be working during that whole time. I'll be working my day job at night. I'll be working on an Anime Insanity at night on every weekday, and then on weekends I'm doing the shows, and that'll be my life for 6 weeks. Yippee! It's gonna be hectic, and it's gonna be awesome. Cool. So get your tickets now at inanimateinsanity.com/tickets. I can't wait to see you there. Anthony also asks, any upcoming movies you're excited? It is insane that Inside Out 2 is right around the corner, everyone. I when I first saw Inside Out 1 in theaters, I remember just being a sobby little mess slumped down in my chair, and all my friends were like, "You okay?" And so that is definitely a favorite of mine, and I'm hopeful that this movie is at least 75% as good. If it's 100% as good, like it's good. We're in for a pretty wild time. I'll rate the movie right after this little thought. So I mean that's the thing on my radar right now. I still haven't seen Challengers, which I've been wanting to see. I hear great things about the newest Planet of the Apes, but I haven't seen the third one before I see this fourth one. Uh, and I would love to see Godzilla minus one. Wait a second, fellas. Godzilla minus one is our next movie on the Capcom podcast. So if you want to participate in our little book club like experience of this podcast, be sure to check out Godzilla minus one. By the next time we do one of these streams, which is exactly 2 weeks from right now. Um, be there or don't. um, and to wrap up the thought from earlier, they made Pete Docter said that Inside Out 2 is like his favorite Pixar film. I have a lot of stock in that guy. I'm I'm expecting good things, and I want to feel a lot of emotions, which I do with any Pixar movie. But a movie about emotions is particularly apt. Um, Anthony writes that I should probably go ahead and rate that movie. I paused so anyone could jump on in and then say it with me in that moment. Sure am, Leo. I sure am doing well. And I rate this movie 5 minefield explosions out of 20. That makes it sound like I did not like it. I just think ratings are dumb. But I did really enjoy this movie. I Anthony writes, "Wow, like clearly I did actually really like this movie." I listen. I usually am not like getting super into action movies. I think the last movie I saw that had this vibe was the Bob Odenkirk one, Nobody, which people I think even more closely were comparing to John Wick. And I didn't really like that one. I the only things that really stick out to me about that movie were like there were some like really intense scenes where like you're doing the cool actiony thing but also like hurting people in really tremendously foul ways, people who you hate a lot less than the Nazis in this movie. The action scenes weren't like as grabbing me. I don't really care nearly as much. This is a great movie, highly recommend it. That's my actual rating that I recommend it for anyone who thinks that seeing cool actiony things is a good time. You will like this movie, period. And it's a movie that has a little more stylization to it than I would expect with a movie like this. Like I love the little chapter titles. There's a lot of fun to be had with this movie. Go see the movie. And for those who are curious, Anthony gives this movie a 7 out of 10, which is probably, if I was actually rating movies, probably more around what I'd more legitimately give it. But I shan't. I shan't do that. And that has been my rate that movie. So I do give full permission to any scenario in which Anthony is allowed back into this little streamy boy before the end of this. But I might start our wrap up process now anyway, because I don't think I think we'll manage without a topic. I think we'll manage without a special topic of the week, because this has been a very special episode. Um, I'm Cameron. I'm Seb. I'm Anthony. No, for anyone who might be the technician-y person in the we were hoping that Anthony would be added back in because he was
Hey, what's up?
backstage. he accidentally, I assume accidentally left and then couldn't get back
Yeah,
in.
I did.
So,
left by accident.
any last words before we wrap up, Anthony? Because I'm checked out.
You did a fantastic job all around for Justin.
Yay.
Fantastic job leading that. Yeah,
thank you.
thank
you. I lost hope. I definitely I lost hope at a point, but you brought it back, Anthony, from beyond the grave.
I don't know about that one.
Well, all we needed was like one topic, and then I just started rambling for a really long time. Neurons started firing.
Throw something at the wall, and if it sticks, it stick. If it didn't,
and more than half the things he said did, and yes, we made this podcast the best one yet.
This is gonna be one in the history books. At least the most comical one.
Is it even like? I think we do hit like a level of peak comedy when Cameron is trying to take something really seriously, and then we juxtapose that with goofy, whereas we're just two goofy dudes, you know. So, I mean, but obviously the hijinks on a technical level were incredibly goofy. But yeah, let's give the floor to you on all the thoughts that you haven't been able to say, right. Or if you want to just give closing remarks, whatever floats your boat right now.
I'll do a little bit of both. I'll give like a little summary of thoughts on the movie, and then we'll close it off. It's getting close to that hour mark. And we don't need to push it back longer than we need to. I thought it was a fantastic movie, especially as someone who enjoys the John Wick franchise. For those who don't know, I used to do martial arts as a kid. I was 30 black belt. I used to teach karate, whole 9 yards. And it's something that like I quit because I got into a little thing with my sensei. We don't have to talk about it now, but yeah, and it didn't end very well, so I kind of quit that lifestyle, that hobby. But I still have appreciation of like, you know, choreography and like martial arts and anything like that. So like when I get to see like great choreography when it comes to like action, like it's beautiful, especially when they don't cut. Like Fast and Furious is a great movie. I mean, it's not a great movie. Fast and Furious is it's a movie you watch when you don't want anything and you just want to sit down and you want to pass out. That's a movie I have to put on. But anyway, they cut during their action scenes, and this one they don't. That's something that I always appreciated about the John Wick franchise. About this one is that there's little cuts you get to see the hits, and like they're feeling it. Trust me, guys. Those actors are feeling those hits. So I don't know. That gives me appreciation.
So you gotta appreciate that.
Actors, but the producers, the stuntmen, stuff like that. But it was a 7 out of 10. It was a fantastic movie. The underwater scene I thought was badass. Like
I love that.
Just coming down the water.
You see the bubbles, and then it turns into blood bubbles. Like it's wild.
Yes, it's wild. It was a good one. It was really cool. I would definitely watch it again if like my friends were over and like they just wanted to put something on just to like get their mind off things.
I mean, I could be over right after this.
I got 3.5 hours, but yeah, come on over.
That's perfect because I'm jumping to another podcast at around 1-ish. So then by the time that's over, you know, right.
Sounds good.
As though I have any energy right now post COVID booster. I'm just I'm trying so hard to have energy. I'm not a coffee guy. I've never coffeed actually.
They have refreshers.
So I mean, like maybe this could be this. No, I'm saying this could be the time, you know, to addict myself to all the caffeine. Let's heck and go.
Yeah.
But thank you for recommending this movie. Usually I like to pride myself on the person who brings good recommendations to the table, but you know what? Sorry.
Thank you.
But you know what, Anthony? You really outdid yourself.
Thank you. I was afraid to recommend this one, so I wasn't sure. Like, I feel like it's such a niche movie. It's either you like it or you don't.
I'm curious. I'm curious what
I'm just
everyone
glad
else
you
would have
liked it.
thought, but I could say that I really liked it all the way through.
I'm glad.
So
Glad
it
you
was a
liked
great
it.
time.
It was different. It was a cool western. My uncle actually got me into westerns. I know we're ending a
I
little
haven't
bit,
seen a lot of
but I
westerns,
used
but
to
like
watch.
this was a great vibe, you know. Like you want to see that that western hero energy,
Yeah,
protecting nobility. You know, it's really satisfying. Yeah.
it is satisfying. Have you ever seen the spaghetti westerns? Those are even different.
No,
There's a
no,
lot of
I
good
haven't seen
spaghetti
any.
westerns. All right, we'll have to,
I know
do a
the
sit down.
phrase.
My uncle's,
Mhm.
okay. My uncle's a big fan of it, and
I've
he
seen
got me
Back to
into
the
some.
Future
So,
3, let me tell you. So I'm covered.
ah, I don't know if I consider that one a spaghetti western.
They're
You
in
got
the
covered. I
Wild
kinda,
West. Earn.
you got me there. You got me there. You're right there. We're in the Wild Western. It's the Wild Wild West.
Wild
It's the
Western
Wild Wild
front.
West.
Wild Wild
All right.
West. Wild Wild West. So
Exactly.
we'll get a spaghetti western on the docket for next time. I was like, okay, well next time's Godzilla, and then I'm gone for like 3 podcasts. But
You're
I'll
on
be
your tour,
back.
which is gonna be great. You guys, you
Yay.
talked about it before, but definitely check out his tour. He's a fantastic artist.
Thank you so
Fantastic what he
much.
does.
I
It's gonna be a great
appreciate
tour.
that.
I plan on going to the New York one.
Did we talk about that? Did I know that? That's all. Thank you. Oh, awesome.
Oh, did I lose connection?
No. Well, I mean, I'm hearing you.
Oh, he lost connection.
I, for me, we're both good. I mean, I'm curious if we go back to the podcast, if it's no, I think if I go back to the podcast, it looks like both of us are still good. So maybe you're just not.
I could just be in a parking lot. It's the damn Anthony's Pizzeria, man.
No!
Anthony is hurting me. It's blocking my cell receptions.
But thank you for coming along to the tour. Yay! It'll be fun.
Yeah.
You already have a ticket? Do I have to figure something out for you? Like, there's still tickets left.
No, I was gonna buy a ticket in a little bit.
Yeah,
but
well,
they sold out.
Saturday and Sunday might be sold out. Friday might be the only day left.
I was gonna go Friday. Sunday was.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I didn't know you were coming. Yay! Let's go.
Yeah.
You might want to catch up on the show a little bit beforehand. It's a little serialized.
I was planning on binge watching it.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy jumping back to my adventures that started when I was in 8th grade. So
of course,
the quality it wasn't there from day one, but we kept going, you know. And
that's all that matters is repetition.
That's the thing. Yeah, you make something. I think you gain so much more experience. Working on a project from start to finish over and over and over again, as opposed to like working on like a big long project for the same amount of times. Just doing the full process. And I'm proud of what we've been doing. So, woo! Here we go. I'm excited. But thank you, Anthony. Thank you for coming back. It's a real mood changer, you know. And now that you're back, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Wait, I gotta do the thing. Whoa!
Yo, that was wild. And
alrighty.
Now that I'm shaken up and need to take a little nap to recover, I've been Justin.
I'm Anthony.
And tune in next time when we discuss Godzilla -1. Now available on Netflix, probably. I think at least in Germany.
So, yeah.
At least in Germany, it's available on Netflix, according to Cameron.
I'll have to look it up for us for the US.
And hopefully Leo will be able to end the stream on command, so to speak. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye,
guys.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Yeah. Okay. We might just if we leave, we'll just end.
This
is awkward. We could just go.
All right, we're just gonna leave. Bye, guys.
Okay. See you, dudes.